Welcome back to this game's titleless adventure. So I don't solo strip for the other one. Actually, I'm totally sure. I like the Satellite Mission more. But who are we playing as this time? How can we not? Yeah. Is it really? Huh, I didn't realize Power Pipes is a sport car. It's actually pretty tough. We're gonna play as Burn, of course, in space. How can we not play as Burn in space? This time sporting their World Race-esque design. I'm really surprised the front of the car in particular managed to turn out the way it did. It looks a lot like the actual car it's trying to mimic.
Ready to race. 3, 2,
I really like it.
1, go!
So the idea here is going to be to stay on first as soon as we get it, not lose it once we get it, and to not fall off the track. It should not be a problem for Burn, not just because they're a pretty good racer and an ego to match their ability, but also because this is where they're used to being. This is where they feel most at home among the stars. I actually don't imagine Burn as being like a... Oh jeez, did I forget to... Whoa! Yeah, there's the other Burn trying to pull some pits like you'd probably expect. I think I might have forgotten to include somebody's story at some point or another. At the end of this episode, when I finish things up, I'll ensure that I haven't forgotten anybody. Yeah, this car looks really nice from front, seriously. I repurposed a decal that is not supposed to be used in the slightest. That's how it worked out.
This could get bouncy.
Bounce, bounce. Killing your suspension.
You're out in front.
But yeah, I actually only imagine Burn as being,
Up on the side strip.
let's say, an animal competitor in Star Trek Challenge, not always being in Star Trek Challenge. Because they're usually bouncing between different
Watch out for the bumps.
events throughout the world. Or not the world, throughout the universe, rather.
Careful on those corners. It's a long way down.
So, they all do this whole thing without using boost too, just to show off.
Look out for the bombs.
Burn would do that.
Get some flames.
See how much you can beat everyone online without actually using boost at any point.
Get some flames.
Beautiful.
It's a bumpy road,
Or if you
but
can
you're
even...
holding the road.
I'm curious what your max speed is if you boost while on a zip strip. I don't know if it actually helps or
You're in
not.
the lead.
I'll still pick up the
And
boost.
into the outside zip strip.
Whoa.
Stay
Hey, no
on
falling
course.
off.
Get some flames.
Done.
Watch out for the bumps.
Never pose a challenge to me. Drifting around Storm.
Careful on
Burn
those
will almost
corners.
definitely
It's a
take it on.
long way down. Great, you picked up some booster flames.
Oh, sure, stop rumbling. There we go. It's kind of weird.
Get some flames.
I do appreciate the haptic input this game gives you for driving over different terrain. Yeah, look at that. We even beat the other Burn by 5 seconds. Is that going to be a 10-second lead? Oh, look at that. 12-second lead. 12.5-second lead with opposition without using boost. That sounds appropriate for Burn. That's what Burn can do in their own home environment. But, so what did I skip over earlier? Make sure there's nobody else that I wanted to say things about that I didn't say things about. I probably should have said something about Alex. Oh, Engine Run Storm. Jeez. Okay. Look at these. So Drifting Ryan Storm. So Drifting Ryan Storm, do remember that he is in fact royalty, not actually a king, at least not yet. But once his relatives died off, leaving him the sole heir to the royal fortune, he expanded Star Trek Challenge even further, with the goal of making it the universe's biggest driving event, attracting drivers from across the galaxy, meaning more of the likes of Burn and others. Not just meaning it would be the best of the drivers on Earth and whoever decided to come over, but also the best of drivers in existence. In fact, it might have even renamed it World's Best Driver, who knows. Who else was there? There's Alex. I think I did. Did I read Alex's? I feel like I did for some reason. Falling back into the shadows, with the usual nobody knowing where he ever is when he's not at Stunt Challenge, but occasionally seen wherever. I feel like I read this. Why did I read this? I never played as Alex until this sitting. At one point winning Stunt Challenge, but refusing to actually join the Golden Tetrad. Oh, Race Cam also sharing some of Drifting Around Storm's acquired fame, serving as comic relief as a co-host, which is basically exactly what they're doing already. But again, the robot's losing it, keeping the status quo, and Drifting Around Storm is definitely going to keep Stunt Challenge going. Where's Byrne? So Byrne continued competing in races throughout the galaxy, universe as a whole probably, being the highest ranked driver on his home planet and many others. Also being the self-declared rival of Alex, planning to one day return to Earth and win Stunt Challenge, that they have not yet done. I think that's everyone that I accidentally skipped. Just to make sure. Yeah. We already saw it give XG3 and Velocity X. As a refresher, I guess. Staying most of the time with Gearhead, talking to Metcog, and watching Stunt Challenge Super Race Cam, but not actually really being forced to do any work in the driving school for the, what was it? The Danny Phantom driving school for the something impaired, or school for the driving impaired? I don't remember what it was called. Okay. Who's next? So that having me done, there is one last race I want to redo here, because otherwise we're not going to be able to play as everyone. We're going to play as, here we go. I keep forgetting which categories these cars are. We're going to play as the Professor, with a very messed up front of their car. So what happened with the, well actually we know what happened to the Professor. They're the janitor at the driving school. No, not the janitor. Are they? I think they are. Also assistant teacher or something.
Get ready to race.
Unless Gearhead was a janitor. I think that's the case. The Professor's just the assistant teacher or something like that.
3, 2,
So anyways, what are we doing here?
1.
Let's probably make sure of that before the race starts. So, there's only one thing we need to do at some point, but it's actually probably going to prove kind of tough.
1, go.
This is that classic showdown again that you've seen before, and this is actually a pretty ideal car for this, thankfully. But,
Okay, you're good to boost.
actually, this is kind of cruel now that I think about it. We're still going to do it anyways. Professor, of course, being a robot, we're going to do the whole humans versus robot thing, but there's a much more personal
Up the vertical hairpin once more.
stake in it this time too. Reason being, there's a particular driver here, one who holds first, surprisingly, despite them not using the most advanced of cars. You can see him in the top left right now.
Get some flames.
I don't know if I should boost through this section. In particular, we'll catch up to him.
Okay, you're good to boost.
Ah,
Get some flames.
here you are. Here's Danny.
Gotta stay off the
So we have a pretty specific goal here. This one's gonna be pretty tough, actually, especially if we fail
through the lava tube.
on any of our attempts.
Through the lava tube.
You can do this on this track, right? Really certain.
Shooting the lava tube.
And you know what? I'm gonna be really bummed out if you can't,
Get some flames.
because I'm gonna have to do it on the next track. But I wanted Volcano Battle to be the grand finale in its own right. We'll see.
Hairpin. Watch out for the
Yeah.
bombs.
Okay. Okay. So problem.
From my view, those cars are looking hot down
So the idea was to knock Danny off the track, except there's no way to knock anyone off the track here. I need to at some point knock someone off the track, right? That would be such a fun, satisfying thing to do somewhere at some point. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to put Danny on a track where he would do that. You know, I wanted to really badly, but the closest thing we're gonna get is doing it here. So this isn't really our actual finale with Volcano Battle. It's just, in fact, we might even quit once we do it.
Okay, get ready to race. 3, 2,
But we're probably gonna spend.
1.
We're probably still gonna spend pretty much the entire race trying to do this because
Take care on those corners.
Catch up to Danny is going to take a while. Especially if that happens. Jeez.
Back in the race. Okay.
But I usually spend this entire race just catching up to their opponents.
Perfect getaway.
That being Danny specifically, actually. Burn! Stop it.
Take care on those corners.
Burn not being too fond of robots in particular. Jeez! Why can't I make that turn?
Okay. 3, 2.
It's a really hard turn.
Go. Perfect getaway.
I tend to do this. Burn! I tend to do this particular track with heavier cars, so I usually just figure the reason that happens is because I'm using a heavier car. That's not the reason this
Good
time.
air.
Ah, burn!
Firepower to boost now.
Aggressive as ever.
And past the checkpoint.
As you can see, that there's certainly opportunities to let people off the track here.
Get some flames.
So it's just a matter of catching up,
From my view,
then getting
those
someone good on a
tires are
turn.
looking hot down there on the Stunt Track Challenge tracks. Okay, you're good to boost.
I'm actually catching up pretty quickly.
Get some flames.
It's kind of oddly reminiscent, though, of...
Moved into second place.
There you go. Ah!
Close
Shoot.
call.
Didn't lose too much there, though, at least.
From my view in the
Oh, what?
medium
I got no
this is
boost there.
gonna be a great day's racing. Okay, you're good to boost.
Alright, this is not too bad. Oh, Danny's slipping up.
Tires are looking hot down there on the Stunt Track Challenge track.
Means I need to...
Get going, come on.
Almost.
Go for the lead.
We'll see if the professor can actually pull this off.
Nice landing.
I mean, trying to take on Danny in anything combat related is usually a fool's errand. Although we never have seen a fight between probably the professor and anyone, actually, but especially the professor and
A perfect
Danny.
day for Stunt
I
Track
mean,
Challenge racing.
keep in mind, Danny has to have learned his progression from somewhere. Ah!
Close call.
It's hard not to bounce off your opponent when you do that. Oh, that's another good landing.
Careful of the bombs.
Ah! Sure, it's possible to do it to someone. Having the hardest time.
Flames.
Come on, Danny. Where is he? There's Danny.
Still time left.
Oh, jeez. These guys are teaming up now.
Nice landing.
Two guys are actually kind of jerks.
From my view in the medium whip, this is gonna be a great day's racing.
Teaming up against the professor now. Oh, and Danny's really gone for the pit maneuvers now. And Danny wins.
Third place.
Whoa, that was weird. I hit quit. Okay. So, in fact, the end of that story is no. After all this time, seeing if... Well, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of that. So I guess what happens is the professor tries to take on Danny in a fight. Danny, of course, being Danny, holds his own, although, keep in mind, Danny learned that fighting proficiency from someone, and that personality of his. That being Professor, one would imagine. But Danny holds his own well enough, and when it seems like he's being knocked out of the event, even though he hasn't been knocked off the actual track, he ends up coming back stronger than ever with, strangely enough, with Burden of all people. Ends up winning the race anyways. Anyways, our actual finale here is going to be playing as kind of a random character, but playing as That's Companion, Slingshot's companion rather. Why did I write it down as That's Companion? Maybe I wrote this back when Slingshot was still that. But so here, actually running against the professor again, not falling. So after the first time you pass the professor, not falling back behind them again, which I don't think should be too big a deal, but we'll see. But we should also see what became of Slingshot's companion. Jeez. So, after training under Slingshot for a while, Slingshot's companion leaves Earth in search of their forgotten home. Because, they're from somewhere else, we don't know where though, and they want to find those answers. So that's how they're going to spend, maybe not the rest of their days, but it's something they're going to do from now on at least. It's the last we're probably going to see of them. By that I mean Branch up, because we're not going to play these Hot Wheels games again. I do appreciate the detail of the car suspension getting all wonky when you're... No, braking doesn't really stop your boost either. There's a minimum amount of boost you can use, I guess. It's kind of weird. These turns are really hard in heavy cars. Yeah, I already passed the Professor. I admit, I couldn't really come up with anything for Slingshot's companion, seeing how Slingshot isn't actually a racer. Which I would have loved, if it were. It would be a great finish for the series, too. Hey, Danny. Oh, Danny! No! That was interesting. Danny ends up falling off the track anyways. Not because of the Professor this time, just on his own. I guess the Professor got what they wanted, just not through actually having done it themselves. It's kind of funny though, you don't usually see the AI do that. Especially the one who's supposed to be staying in first. I did though, I think, as the Professor managed to knock Danny out of first place. Which is interesting. Oh well, so this is probably about the time, if I don't want to extend this episode too long, to start talking about saying goodbye to this whole project and putting it all to rest. There's nothing on the front of this car. It's kind of plain. Ow. Ah! Yeah, I did not hit that turn nearly hard enough. Well, it's been quite the adventure. It's definitely gone on a lot longer than I realized it would when I first started it. I like playing multiple games from the same series or IP or whatever in a row. So when I started doing Hot Wheels, didn't feel any different. I'd done it for a few other things like SSX series before as well. But taking on all the Hot Wheels games, I didn't realize there were so many. Like, I just knew there were a couple that I'd played before, and I figured it would be kind of fun to go back to them and play them again. And geez, this turned into quite a monster in lots of ways. Not just, of course, how long it ended up being, but the strange story that ended up going along with it that has been unprecedented on this channel and probably won't ever appear anywhere else again either. Certainly hasn't. With the exception of Digimon World 4 being its own thing, but still, like, this is without other people playing it with me that are sharing in the ridiculous stuff that's being come up with. Although, of course, you got audience participation here too. Man, good job, Burn. Yeah, Burn lost some points there. But it's always nice to go back and enjoy some things. But really, I don't know what to make of what this all turned into. All these characters that ended up having... Not all of them, most of them didn't have much in the way of depth or anything, but it was something interesting, something kind of fun. Also, might as well play the... You finished this tournament. You know what? No, we'll end off with the You finished the tournament cutscene. And by the way, it's not going to be the Xbox version because I don't have the Xbox versions of the cutscenes. I could rip it from the disc myself, but I don't have the audio for it. I don't have the video. But I have ripped it from the disc myself, I don't have the video. I could probably put the audio of the PS2 version that I have against the video of the Xbox version. I'm not going to worry about that though. But yeah, I don't even know what to think of what all this became. It was so weird too, actually having a reason to do what I did with... Where do we race? Just a nice drive alone. I wish you could play as other cars. Oh no! The textures are loading wrong. The barricades have the wrong. Oh well. Oh, you can actually go for best time on this too. I did not know that. Huh.
Look out for the bombs!
Yeah, transparent. That's a nice solo drive from the governor. Reliving their old days from back when they were actually racing on Stunt Challenge. How they acquired that gold car. Yeah, see, I think even just that. I can just, off the top of my head, say something about a character that explains what they're doing right now. That was not something I ever did before. And it really turned this into another type of adventure for me. Right? Had some weird kind of investment in something that was otherwise just a bunch of licensed games. Some which I really liked. Some which I had fun playing, others I had good memories with, like this one. But in any case, regardless, it was just having fun. That's what it comes down to. I had a lot of fun playing these games. Not always because it was actually... Oh geez, I forgot this thing has so much turbo. Oh my god! I forgot you can actually just maintain a continuous turbo throughout some tracks with this car. That's what makes this car so broken. I had totally forgotten about that. Jeez. I am, believe me, drifting around Storm, I am.
You're back on the track.
Jeez. Yeah, the boost stat you see isn't really very descriptive of this car when you're in the garage. So you get a higher speed if you boost right on a zip strip? Marginally, I think. Maybe.
Nice landing.
No, of course I'm getting absorbed in actually playing the game instead of talking. But that's... If I had to boil it down to one thing as to why I enjoyed all this so much, is it was just fun. I was doing something silly with all these games I was playing that otherwise it would still be nice, but not as enjoyable. They wouldn't be special, they would just be another licensed game each time. But it's actually applying character to all of it and a story to all of it, and in some cases putting together some modding and whatnot too. Or, when applicable, using in-game modifications available to me, or ways of customizing cars and whatnot. Can I change it without changing the track? That's interesting. I never mess around in this game mode. It just turned into something fun, but something I had investment in, something I never had any investment in before on this channel, because I had a lot of things that was going on, largely improvised, not all of it. I talked, for instance, about how I was playing ahead for the Velocity X playthrough I did on the bus, with how that was going to be different depending on whether the robots or the organics won. And there are some things like how I was thinking of robots somehow becoming an antagonist later on for a very long time. You know, this would feel pretty appropriate too.
Okay,
Wait, no.
get 3.
Change car too. I change track was only change track. I wish I could decide which cars to race with here. I think if you select this, you just get the same same opponent racers as you get in game show mode. I think. I'm not sure, but we can have Slingshot's companion exploring the stars, who unfortunately never managed to give a name to. But oh well, it's fine. Could have actually used the name of whoever drives Switchback in this game. That's what we did with Burn. It would be inappropriate. Oh no. We're fine. Whoa. Oh, where was I? Oh. I guess I was talking about how I was... Oh yeah, the robot thing. So I was actually thinking about robots somehow getting involved in something. Actually, before I even got into that arc, even after playing Velocity XGP, I was joking to myself about the robots having some uprising or something like that, which would be kind of funny. This was before Drifting Around Storm got involved in anything too. Then before he was drifting around Storm, just around Storm, but I was imagining a funny little scene, just as a little aside, not actually like a main component of the story of Drifting Around Storm and Race Cam Drifting Around Storm, which would be kind of funny. Is that Earth up there? It's very Earth-like. It's very small Earth, though. And that eventually came to fruition after that arc was done through. I don't know if everything ever really managed to top what World Race turned into, because that was something crazy with, and that was something I put hours into, not just the texture tracks with cars, but especially the finale there with the race with Slingshot is so fast. Jeez. I spent hours upon hours replacing every single texture just about in that game with black stuff. So you just be racing in a void. I think it turned out really cool though, thankfully. It's nice. I don't know how much it paid off for any audience members on the whole, because the audience participation in the series as a whole has been extremely sparse, with one notable exception. That being, of course, Riker / Muscletone, who normally I don't really mention my name because I don't want to make anyone think I'm playing favorites. But in this case, like, it's over, so there's no more instance of being able to, like, leave open anybody else thinking that it's fine for them to also provide ideas, which one person did once do. One person did suggest Karma driving Chicane at one point, which of course would make sense, but Chicane only appeared to beat that anyways. But I did, as a reference to that, texture hack Chicane in that game to look like Karma's Chicane. So I wanted to. So it has been weird. It's because virtually nobody, I think only 2 people other than Riker have actually acknowledged the weird story stuff I have going on. And those 2 seem pretty cool, but one was at first confused, and then when I explained the whole thing that was going on, they thought it was kind of cool. This doesn't look like a light car to me, even though it is. Okay, so changing car does change the track. Okay. Burn racing at home as well.
Okay, get ready to race.
Here's some more of this music I love.
3, 2, 1, go!
I keep losing my. I don't know what it is with me and losing my train of thought every few seconds. I guess it's just kind of one of the problems with doing Let's Plays, because your attention is constantly divided. There you go. Oh well. But so it was never easy to. I never had any opportunity really at all to gauge whether people thought much of anything of the quality of the weird stories and characters came up with, as well as whether I should be doing that at all, or if I was like turning anybody off of these playthroughs because I was doing this weird thing the whole time with injecting characters and stories into things that don't have those, especially one that was really long and you couldn't really just jump into the middle of. But nobody ever said anything about it, so I couldn't really say anything in response. It's kind of weird. And these Hot Wheels games haven't had a ton of years on the whole, at least compared to my usual other licensed fare, that being the Nicktoons games. But I mean, it was enough for me to keep going. I've had stuff that fewer people watch, to say the least. As long as I know somebody's enjoying what I'm doing, it's fun to keep going. But this series was a bit different too, in that normally I'm just playing the stuff I play for other people for the most part, for other people's nostalgia of the old games I'm playing, as well as and then people see the games that I'm showing off. That's probably why I share only 100% the games I'm playing within reason. But then this became a little different because I was playing this for myself too, these games as a whole, because I was taking the opportunity. This doesn't have the high stop speed. It is lower than Governor's. 200 instead of 210. Which I already knew because it's a light car. Sports car. But hopefully that never got in the way of people actually enjoying the series. The various series I was playing. Various games I was playing, that is. This is an odd thing. This is a big anomaly for my channel. This was the year of Hot Wheels, essentially, and for her Wild View of Pinata as well. And it's definitely an era for this channel as a whole. And this game marks the end of one. The nice bookends of starting and finishing the same series, but now ending it with an entire cast full of characters instead of just driving around as cars. I don't know to what degree these characters are going to stick with me in my mind as the years go on, but I think it'll be a fun memory for me at least. I'll be happy to have had all this happen. It was, amusingly, kind of sad running the Where Are They Now segments for every character, because I was saying goodbye to them, really. Thinking about how they moved on in their lives after all these things happened. I'm gonna look real quick and make sure I didn't miss anyone that I should have read off the text for, but I don't think I did. I think I see everyone. Yeah, I got everyone. Is there anyone else I want to do a quick run through any particular level as? Anybody that has any particular connection to a particular level? And of course, there's one who started it all, Alex, the first character to really be a character, even somehow before Drifting Around Storm, because Drifting Around Storm didn't drive a car until beat that. It's so weird to think that all of this, I mean, it started with a couple things. There were some seeds that were planted, Alex, for instance, being one, and his sudden disappearance in this game, and me always having being amused at Alex and his strange name, Gwazjowski, that I'd never heard anywhere else before. In fact, if you look it up online, you just search Gwazjowski, it only brings up this game, which is funny. Like 2 instances of people mentioning him. And then there was some stuff with Velocity X that also was some fun stuff, but it really got kicked off when, of all things, I just made fun of the name of Hot Wheels Beat That, of that particular game. Each time I would introduce an episode, I would just tack on something extra about the oddity of the name, wondering what it is that what we're trying to beat and things like that. And it just went from there, and it evolved into this massive adventure that I would not have expected to ever grip this channel, or myself for that matter. It's basically one giant ridiculous Hot Wheels fanfic, except in the form of videos and games, and it's such a strange, ridiculous concept, one that I've never been willing to really like admit to other people that I'm doing, because it's so ridiculous, but I had fun with it, and that's, at least to me, what matters insofar as justifying myself doing it, but I hope that other people did as well, because this was something ever so strange. Probably should end this off with the credits too, because I usually end something off with the credits. I don't know if I have enough to talk about for the credits anymore. I've pretty much talked about everything. Of course, I already have shown the credits last time I played this game. Ryan Storm, Alan Marriott. Thank you, Drifting Around Storm. Also known as Alan Marriott. He got the top credit too. Top billing in order of appearance. Where'd they appear? Crusher and Tex. I need to watch the Velocity X credits again to see the funny stuff they have, like Crayon Sharpener. Now I'm curious of what other stuff his voice actor has done, if I could make jokes about. If he's done another video game, I kind of want to play it. Like Killage. One of the characters in this game was Killage, wasn't it? That's an interesting name. Wait. Oh, wait a minute. Are the competitors named after the developers? I doubt Alex Gwazjowski is one of the people. I think a few of the characters are named after the developers, though. Like Alex Frith, I think, was one of them. Bowles. Yeah, so the surnames. That's cool. You got a character in our series named after you, Mr. Bowles. That's awesome. I never paid much attention to that. I think somebody mentioned that once in my first playthrough of this game, that lots of the characters were named after the developers. Oh, Alex. So that's who Alex Wojciechowski is named after. Alex at the bottom there. That's awesome. I never realized that. THQ, I don't know if I'm as interested in the publisher as I am the people who actually made the game. Oh well, so there's not much more to say or do. It's gonna be hard to just hit the stop recording button and just go about my day after knowing that this whole thing is over now, but I mean, it would not be, I could not reasonably keep it going any further or anything like that anyways, because we've at this point done everything there is to do. There are only like 2 games I didn't play, and that was Slot Car Racing, which would have been too expensive for me, so I had to buy a lot of stuff for it. And Crash, which to me isn't even a fun game. It's literally 5 minutes if you know what you're doing, and it hurts my ears. You know, I probably could have tried to fit into the story in some funny way. Like the Simi being XG3 and just going on a rampage. Oh well, I think it all worked out. Oh, I never noticed the water is actually animated. It's not very animated, so that's why I never noticed it was animated. This is a really fun camera that we're chasing around here. That's probably Race Cam, giving us our farewell. At this point, I'm just trying to outlast the credits, so I can have an actual sign-off from Drifting Around Storm. Mattel, where are you here too? Everyone's here. I might have to cut this off. So I don't know to what degree they're actually involved in this game. Oh, that's everyone. Okay. So, us guys. Somewhere else, Summer Lives on Hot Wheels. Thank you everyone who followed really any part of this whole series. Those of you who didn't follow the whole thing, thank you for putting up with the weird everything that got injected into these games that wasn't originally in it. Those who actually followed along this whole time, however many there were aside from Riker, however little you said. Even if you never said anything about it, never gave any direct input yourself, I still appreciate everyone's presence, and it would make me... The idea of somebody else having actually followed and made an investment in this whole thing is also something that gives me a lot of joy. Something that really justifies this ridiculousness. I always forget this game actually has System Link. You can play this game online. You can find videos online of people doing it if you're curious. Regardless, that's Stunt Track Challenge. That's this whole Hot Wheels adventure that is to date unnamed. And I'll see you guys next time, wherever the world takes us, wherever this channel takes me, and maybe you guys as well if you decide to follow along. Sign us off, Drifting Around Storm. Bye, everyone.
Way to go! Stunt Track Challenge is over, and you finished first in all 6 shows, which means you've mastered the game and won the ultimate prize, the Stunt Track Challenge Gold Car! Now you can put the pedal to the metal in this 24-karat gold beauty. Congratulations! Thanks for watching. I'm Ryan Storm, and we'll see you next time on Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge.